Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my series Best Disney World Rides for Toddlers. We are talking all about attractions and today is Epcot day, so I'm wanting to jump right in and get started. So Epcot is now separated into 4 different sections, and so you have World Showcase, which is all of the countries around the lake there that you can see, experience, either starting on the left side going into Mexico and around, or starting on the right side going into Canada and then around. So depending on how you go, that's the way it is. But they have what used to be Future World, which is where you come into the park if you come in the main gate. And so that is now called World Celebration. But then there's also World Discovery and World Nature. So just to keep it simple, we're gonna have these two separated into World Showcase and World Celebration. And so like everything back here in that front section of the park is going to be World Celebration is what we're gonna call it. And then everything else is World Showcase. Starting out with World Celebration, these are rides that anybody can ride. Your itty bitty baby can ride it, your 85-year-old grandma can ride it, everybody, no height requirement, no nothing. Anybody can step foot on this ride and have some fun and enjoy some Disney magic. So starting out with our top favorite ride for a toddler is The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Now this particular part is a ride where you jump in the clamshell and you pull down on the little lap bar and you are transported under the sea with Nemo and Dory and all the gang. And so it is a cute little ride, but you also get to see into the fish tanks of the Seas section that is, we'll get to talk about later, but it actually has real fish, real sharks, real Nemos, like real little clownfish, like all the things. And so it is really, really cool if you have a little one that is into the seas and Nemo and all of the little underwater creatures, then you definitely don't need to miss The Seas with Nemo. Now once you exit this ride, you will exit into the seas. They have reefs, they have fish, they have manatees, they have Bruce the Shark's playground, and so all kinds of things right there that are inside, indoors, and air conditioning. Can I get a hallelujah for the air conditioning and the sweltering Orlando, Florida heat? Anything that we can do to be indoors and gotta get some of those wiggles out is great. There are so many little tanks that you can see and little exhibits you can walk through. There's actually 2 floors, so you can either take an elevator or an escalator and go all the way up or down and explore all kinds of aquatic life, and so it is a lot of fun. So this is a definitely not to miss little section for your toddler, and if your little one is needing some stroller free time, get out of that stroller, let them walk around, let them get some of those wiggles out, as we say. This is a great place to do that and cool off too. And another fun activity that you can do there in the seas is Turtle Talk with Crush. Now this is a really fun little attraction, and it's really, they call it an attraction, but it's more of an entertainment show. It's where you go in, you sit down, and you see Crush the turtle as big as life on the screen, and he is literally like talking to the kids and cracking jokes and like all the fun things. So again, if your little one loves Nemo and his friends, then you definitely need to check out Turtle Talk with Crush. It is a lot of fun and sure to be a toddler favorite. In the same-ish area with Nemo is also going to be Journey into Imagination with Figment. He is a little purple dinosaur looking dragon creature that is a figment, hence his name, of your imagination. And so it is really cool. You can hop in the ride vehicle and it takes you through all of these different things of your imagination and all these different sounds, and it's a lot of sensory stuff. Bear that in mind if you do have a little one that is very stimulated by senses. You might want to take it easy on this one, but it is a really fun ride. Now, once you exit this ride, it's kind of like with Nemo, but they have their own little play area, and it's another great space to play. Now, with both of these, obviously, have your hand sanitizer ready because things will be touched. Like, do not expect to take your little one into this and then not touch things, because that's going to be just basically impossible. And it's a great way, again, to cool off in that sweltering Orlando heat, especially if you're going in the summertime. Another fun thing to do that is literally right next door to Journey into Imagination with Figment is the Disney and Pixar Short Films Fest. And this is a 18-minute 4D little movie show that you get to go into the theater and sit and watch the movie clips from Pixar and Disney's little shorts that they have. We all know Disney Pixar shorts are just the best little things. Like, they're so short, but they're so good. Like, they're almost sometimes better than the movies. Like, I would rather watch the short than the movie. So definitely worth checking out if you have a little Disney Pixar fan. There's various movies. Sometimes they change it up. So highly recommend checking that out and experiencing that with your little one. And again, it's indoors. It gets you out of that heat. There's not a lot to do as far as things indoors at Epcot. A lot of it is outdoors. You're outside walking and experiencing booths and eating and things like that. So these rides and attractions that you can kind of get inside, get a little air conditioning and cool off is a great way to reset. Now, the next two rides, I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say they're the best rides for toddlers, but there are two more rides that your toddler can experience. One is Spaceship Earth. Now, that's the ride that's actually in the giant ball of Epcot as you first come in to the theme park. Now, you can go up the little escalator there and go into the ball and get in a car, and it drives you through, and it takes you through all of like this stuff through history and all these things. So it's very fun, and it's something to definitely experience. If you've never been to Disney World before, you've got to like go inside of Spaceship Earth. Like, you can't miss that. But it's more of a ride through history and innovation, and so it's a little more like nerdy than it is like fun and Disney characters, but definitely something not to miss and something your toddler can ride. And then the other ride is Living with the Land. Now, this is a slow-moving boat ride that will take you through some of Disney's greenhouses, and it talks about all of the different ways that they're helping the planet and all of the things even you can do at home. And so it's kind of educational. It's kind of, if you have a green thumb, it's fun to see, as well as just seeing all the different ways that Disney grows the plants. And then especially if you're going to even be eating there at the Garden Grill restaurant, which is a character meal, they actually, all of the food that is served in the restaurant is grown there in the Living with the Land ride. And so it's fun to like be able to go on that ride and then maybe eat at the restaurant and know, hey, I just saw my food, like it was grown right out there on that ride that I just came off of. So it's not necessarily thrilling and exciting, but it is something fun to see. It's educational even for toddlers, of like, oh, look at the watermelon, or look at the tomatoes, or look at the big Mickey plant, or whatever. And so there are fun little aspects of that, especially if your toddler is getting more towards that preschool age and they're learning things. You can kind of point out and be very interactive. I definitely would not ride this ride and just sit there and just be silent. Like, point things out and talk about it and make it a learning experience, because it is such a fun way to be able to learn a little bit of stuff and see some Disney magic. And yeah, it's not like your toddler's favorite ride. They may not come home and be like, oh my gosh, I rode Living with the Land. Like, that's not gonna be the thing they tell their grandparents and friends about when they come home, but definitely check it out. Sticking with the rides that itty bitty baby to 85-year-old grandma can ride, but moving into World Showcase. These rides are a little bit more themed towards the characters, and so some of these you're gonna recognize. Starting out over in Mexico, we have the Grand Fiesta Tour with the 3 Caballeros, and this has Donald, Jose, and Panchito, and it follows along through their adventures through Mexico. And so it's definitely check it out. It's another slow-moving boat ride, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really cute to get a little bit of that culture in, but also see Donald Duck and his friends and get to experience that as well. Next, moving into Norway. Yes, we're go to the left kind of people. I don't know about you guys, but we go to the left when we go to Epcot. We don't go to the right usually, so that's just us. You'll have to let us know in the comment section, are you a left side of Epcot or right side of Epcot person? But when we do that, we go next on to Norway, and that has the Frozen Ever After with, yes, you guessed it, Anna and Elsa, and, well, my two favorites, Olaf and Sven. They're my hands down favorite two characters from that movie, but this is such a fun ride. The queue is amazing. It's so well themed. Like, you literally feel like you have stepped into the Frozen movie, and you see all the characters. Like, you go into the little store and you see the woohoo big summer blowout guy. Like, you see everything. It is so themed. And then you get onto your boat. Another, again, slow moving boat ride, so nothing exciting, nothing too thrilling. There is a couple of drops, but you're not going upside down, anything like that. Again, your baby, your 85-year-old grandma, everybody's good on this ride. But you can go through, you ride through their adventures, and you get to see Anna and Elsa and Kristoff and all the gang from Frozen. And so if you have a little princess or prince that is a Frozen lover, this is a not miss attraction for sure. And then moving on around to France, they have the Beauty and the Beast sing-along. And so this is where you get to go in, you sit in the theater, you relax, you enjoy that AC, that that is ever coveted, and that's Florida heat. And you get to watch little clips from the Beauty and the Beast movie and also get to do a sing-along. There's so many different well-known songs from Beauty and the Beast, and so of course if you're there, you better sing along. And they even inside of the clip are talking about, now kids, we know your parents know these songs, so make sure they're singing along. So warm up your vocal cords and definitely check out the Beauty and the Beast sing along with your little ones. And last but not least in the attractions, as far as in World Showcase goes, is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And so you've got to check this ride out. In this ride, you are literally the size of a mouse. Like, you get in this car and even the car that you ride in looks like a mouse. Like, you are down and you're going like under the stove and you're running through Paris and you see the Eiffel Tower and like all these things, and you're going to Gusteau's, and just so much fun. If you love the Ratatouille film like my family does, then this is definitely a not miss attraction at Epcot. Now, jumping into these next set of rides, they are back in World Celebration, but all three of these rides have a height limit of 40 inches. So this is going to be for a little bit older toddler, someone who's getting closer to that 3, probably 4, maybe even 5 range, depending on how tall or not your toddler is. But if they're 40 inches, this is something they can ride. Starting out with everybody's favorite, Soarin'. Now this is like you're hang gliding, but you're in a seat, you're buckled in, you're safe, but they do have a height requirement on it just for safety purposes. Now, when you get in this, you are literally hang gliding over various parts of the world, different countries, and then you come back to the very end and you get to hang glide over Florida and Disney World, and it is a very, very cool attraction. Now, my oldest daughter isn't quite to that 40-inch tall mark yet, so we've not been able to experience this with her, but it is such a fun attraction, and so if you have an older toddler, I highly recommend checking this one out because it is a lot of fun. Now, next up is Test Track. Now this is where you get to literally go through, build out the car, hop in and ride through Test Track, and it's like you're testing out the vehicle and making sure it's safe and like all these different things. It is such an exciting attraction. Now this is for a toddler that's a little more thrilling, a little more daring. They like fast, they like the wind in their hair. Like, if they're a little bit more of a thrill seeker toddler, then definitely check this one out with them. If not, you might want to just do rider swap and mom and dad take turns getting to experience this ride. But if your little one is brave enough to do this, highly recommend it. I think my daughter, once we get to that 40-inch height, she's gonna be pretty into this because she is just my little fearless daredevil. So I have a feeling this is gonna be a favorite for her too. But if you can and your toddler is old enough and likes it, check it out. Next up is Mission Space. Now this one, I don't think this is a good ride for any toddler, but I also get very like motion sick on this ride, even on the easy level. There's 2 levels. There's a lesser intense and then there's a more intense, but even the lesser intense is still pretty intense. If you have any question about how intense it is, this ride literally has barf bags right in front of you. Yeah, that's how often somebody throws up on this attraction. So definitely not one, but while I'm talking about attractions, I have to mention this one because it is there and it is an attraction. So once your toddler is big enough and hits that 40-inch mark, just know it's a little intense. It may be one of those rides that you want to experience for yourself before you take them on. I wouldn't necessarily just arm them up and go on for the first time, especially if you've not experienced it. Kind of feel it out and see, like, I don't know if they would like this or they would actually love this. So get your bearings, ride it first, and then see what your toddler would like to do. Now, another great thing to do at World Showcase is check out all of the kid cot stations located throughout the countries there in World Showcase. It is a really fun thing to do. They've got these little cards that they're passing out now where you can like learn different facts about that country's culture and little activities and things that you can do, and even like a little scavenger hunt type thing. So lots of fun to be had. Definitely check it out. It does kind of change. It used to be like this thing that you could color and they would like write your names on it, but I think they've switched it up to just being the cards now. So definitely worth checking out and exploring, and that way your little one can learn a little bit about the culture of different countries. But yeah, don't miss the little kid cot stations. And of course I have to mention these because they are listed under the attractions category at Epcot, but it's not necessarily something you can ride. It's more of a movie theater. A lot of the different countries have their own little movies, and even as an adult, I don't find these super interesting. It's not like it's something that I've got to stop in and see every single time, but they're there, so I just want to make you guys aware of them, especially if you're going for the first time. Each country has their own little 8 to 29 minutes. Yes, America is 29 minutes long. They have a little movie or film that you can watch about the country and different things about the culture and the traditions in the country, things like that. So it's a fun way to learn about other countries. Just know some of them, like an American film, are 29 minutes. So if your toddler isn't someone that just like sits through long movies and things like that at home, and especially these don't involve usually Disney characters and things like that, it's literally just the Alps and things about America and things about France, and like you're seeing the countryside, you're seeing the things that are in that country. It's not necessarily about characters and things like that, but I wanted to mention those so you guys know that they're there and you can gauge whether or not you feel like that's something that your toddler would be into. All right guys, so that is going to do it for all of the rides and attractions at Epcot that your toddler can enjoy. I hope you guys really liked the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button down below, and if you're new here and you love Disney tips and tricks for navigating with a toddler as well as Disney vlogs, go ahead and hit the red subscribe button down below and join our internet fam. We would love to see you guys back for another video, but I will see you guys next week for another installment of the series. Bye guys, thanks again.